So in this very casual video, I'm going to teach you how to visualize something as real, what visualization really is, and how I did it, like for almost all of my manifestations. And I got this idea from when I was like talking to my sister, and she seemed very confused as to how to actually imagine it, how to actually visualize. And when she was telling me how she is like trying hard to visualize the detail of it all, I was like, oh no, you're doing it wrong. This is not what visualization really is, and that's not how I did it when I manifested whatever it is I wanted to manifest it. So in this video, I'm going to just teach you or give you tips as to how to visualize it correctly and reach the point of relaxation, the point of it's done. All right, that is really important, and I will tell you why just in a bit. Okay, but I have my little diary. I just kind of took notes as to, I was just trying to remember what I did when I manifested the things that I manifested in my life and how I visualized it. So all of the points are right here on my diary. I'll be obviously, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything out. Now, as I said, this is coming from my own experience. I'm not gonna be one of those teachers who teach you, oh, one thing is better than the other, that visualization is better than affirmation, or affirmation is better than visualization, or you should script. If you've watched my video on manifestation for beginners, you'll know that it doesn't matter if you're affirming, it doesn't matter if you're visualizing, it doesn't matter what we're doing, it doesn't matter even if you're scripting. We're all just thinking. In all of those acts, we're just thinking new thoughts, right? And whenever we think new thoughts, we are always having some kind of imagery in our head playing out, or we are hearing people say stuff, right? It doesn't matter if you're scripting, it doesn't matter if you're affirming, if you're visualizing. So I'm not gonna be one of those teachers who teaches to, that, oh my god, affirmations are better, or visualization is better, or this is better, that is better. No, this is just straight up from my own experience and what I keep on doing to manifest stuff in my life, to even like to imagine my new self concept, my new state of being. I use these techniques, even though I will separately tell you or give you guys tips as to how to imagine your self concept correctly. But yeah, this is pretty much what I do. This is pretty much what I did to manifest everything I've manifested up until this point. So first of all, I just want to clarify this biggest misconception about visualization. Maybe it came from Neville Goddard, because he talked about how to imagine it and how you should just imagine it real, imagine the colors and whatnot, or maybe just smell the place. I don't know. Like, I've not read his books. I recently bought it, but I still haven't read it completely, but it's just what I did. Okay, visualization is not imagining something perfectly. Okay, at least in my case, that was not the case. I was not imagining the details of people's faces or their outfits, or details of my room, details of my phone, details of the job offer that I received. I did not force myself to imagine the detailing of it all, like the colors, or how I cannot imagine how his face looks like. I cannot imagine how my offer letter will look like on my laptop. No, it doesn't matter. That's not what visualization is. Just ask yourself this simple question. Anything and everything you manifest really quickly, like let's just say you have this fleeting thought about, let's just say, having a free cup of coffee, the common one, and it kind of pops up in your reality. Did you imagine the details of the coffee? Did you imagine the details of that cup? Did you imagine the details of that milk, or whatever kind of coffee that was? You did not. It was just a fleeting thought, and it was not perfect. It was not detailed at all, and still it manifested. What it is not you imagining it in details at all. Nobody's asking you to paint them in your head or add details to it. Now I'm just gonna give you guys tips as to how to actually do it. And this is going to be in order, as in the first step, the second step, the third step, even though you can just use any of these things. I like to use each and every one of the points that I'm going to share with you guys in this video. I've just always done it, and it always worked. So before starting your routine, or before starting my routine, I always gave my mind some kind of logic, and this is completely optional. And what do I mean by logic is that wherever you are with your understanding of manifestation, manifestation, you first of all explain to your brain that this is what is going to happen once we do this practice. All right. So I still remember when I was manifesting this job, I think a year or so ago, what I did is, because I still had some sort of understanding about manifestation, so I gave my mind this logic that, you know what, by imagining this, by me imagining that I'm receiving a phone call from a lady giving me the job offer, what's gonna happen is, because we're all one, whoever in this world, whoever is the right person to give me that job is gonna get that ping, almost this nudge to, or this idea almost, to look for a graphic designer or an illustrator or a senior graphic designer. And I played it, like I built it on that little thought. And what I was doing there is just, I was just explaining my mind as to how this practice, the practice that I'm about to do, how this is going to be helpful and how this is going to help us reach our goal of receiving a job offer. All right. This is completely optional, but if you do that, it just, makes it all that much more easier, in the sense that it's then much easier for your brain to reach that point of relaxation. So also you want to make sure that it should be aligned with what your current manifestation beliefs are, however the way you see it. Even if you believe in universe, even though I do not believe in universe, and I encourage people to not believe in universe, but even if you do believe in universe and you think, okay, there's the universe outside of you who's bringing you things. So for as of now, like for right now at least, what you can do, you can use it for your own good, in your favor, and try and explain to your brain as to how your practice is going to bring you stuff. All right, that's step number one. If you have any question regarding this, you can always ask me, but this always worked out for me pretty instantaneously, not just for job offers, but also when I like manifested people in my life, it worked out pretty well. So that's step number one. Completely optional, but if you do it, it's just gonna make your process that much more stronger, that much more powerful. Now the next step is obviously to just imagine your end goal. So in my case, because I'm just taking this one example, that just I was imagining getting a job offer, and I was very specific about what kind of job I wanted. I wanted to be a senior graphic designer, and I wanted to work with a unicorn company. I didn't want to work from office. I wanted to work remotely, and I also didn't want to handle a lot of work. I just wanted something easier, right? So what I did was I created a scene where I am receiving this phone call from a very specific company, and them telling me exactly the things that I want out of this job. All right, so this job has this job is going to be a remote one. It's going to be with this company. It's going to be a senior graphic designer role and stuff like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just imagining all the specifics of what I wanted from a job, right? Through a phone call. I'm not imagining a lady, picking up a phone and calling me. What I'm really doing here is I'm just imagining myself picking up my phone and just talking to this lady, and her just telling me all the things that I want to hear. Nowhere in this scene that I imagined anything in detail. All I did was just imagine myself as I am, and I just heard her talk. That's it. That's all I do. So one useful tip, and that's something that I always use in my manifestations or when I'm manifesting something, is hearing people say something. So let's just say if I get this job offer, that's what I also did. That's step number 2. Once I receive this job offer, what are the things I'll be saying to my closed ones? What are the things I'll be hearing from them? That is also something I involved in my scene. All right, so now that I've received this job offer, I'm excited, I'm happy. I'm telling my mom and dad about it, and they're happy. I'm excited. I'm explaining to them how it's exactly what I was looking for. All of this just included in your scene, like what you would be doing naturally if it were to happen right now. How would you be talking to your mom and dad, to your partner, to your husband, to your wife? How you would be talking in general? What are the things are you gonna tell them? Always include that, and always keep it the same in each and every one of your sessions. Keep it same. Keep the conversations same. Guess what? When I did that over and over again, what I did again, I imagined myself going downstairs, telling my mom and dad, okay, I got this job, them being really happy, them saying something really specific. I don't even remember what I was imagining back then, but me saying something very specific to them. And guess what? It actually played out the exact same way. They actually ended up saying the exact same things I was imagining them saying. And I was not even imagining them like in detail. I was not imagining their faces. I was just imagining them in the sense that you know how to imagine a person without imagining their face. I hope this is making sense. And how to hear their voice in your head. That is good enough, right? And the next step is obviously that I always include in my scenes is to, one of the tips is to create a state of, let's just say, I got this job. Now what? Now, how am I gonna interact with the world? How am I gonna walk? How am I gonna talk? How am I gonna interact with other people in my reality? What am I doing in my reality? Just pick 2-3 things out of that, okay? And walk in your reality, but in your imagination in that state. I hope this is making sense. So let's say you're manifesting specific person, right? Or let's just say you're manifesting amount of money. Let's just say you're manifesting $100,000. Always pick up this example. Once you end up manifesting that, how would you be walking, let's just say in a market? How would you be walking, or how would you be interacting with your friends? How would you be feeling about yourself? How would you be interacting with your mom and dad? Pick 2-3 things from that you usually do in your day-to-day routine, in your day-to-day life. Pick 2-3 things and do those things in your mind, in your imagination, being that new version of yourself. And include this thing in your visualization session. This is essential, right? If you want to do it, not want to do it, I don't care, but it just gives your mind and helps your mind in understanding that this is normal now. Why? Because we are literally picking up the day-to-day normal activities we do, and in our heads we are doing those activities being that new version of ourselves. And again, you don't have to imagine it or any of it in detail as long as you can feel it. Hope this is making sense. You don't have to imagine the colors in detail. You don't have to imagine anything in detail, right? You just have to, I don't know how else to say it, just close your eyes and do whatever you do in your day-to-day life, being that new version of yourself. However, the way you do it, like, it's perfect already. You don't need to add details to it, okay? Now, this one tip is amazing, and whenever I've done it, like, I've literally manifested pretty instantaneously. So now I actually include it in each and every session that I do. What you do is you ask yourself, like, if you were to receive that thing right now, right in this moment, what is gonna be your body language, right? What are you gonna be thinking? How are you gonna be breathing? So just to give you an example, when I was manifesting this job, I asked myself the same question, and I realized that if I receive this call and if I'm about to like get a job offer, obviously I'll be excited. I'll be kind of shocked that it manifested. I'll be breathing a little heavily because I've been nervous. So what I did is I literally mimicked that, as in I imagined myself getting this phone call, and I imagined myself hearing her say what I want her to say. And then what I did while I was imagining that, I on purpose started breathing heavily, in the sense that I started breathing faster, just to kind of create this feeling of nervousness, because if that happens, I'll be nervous. Then what I did, I started creating thoughts in my head. Oh my God, it's manifested. It manifested. It manifested. I can't believe it manifested. And I, at the same time, started breathing faster and faster, just to kind of mimic what I'd be feeling and what my body will go through once it actually happens, and then once I actually receive that phone call, and once I actually hear or actually receive the offer letter. I also did it with my eyes open. It just made it seem that much more real. You don't have to do it with your eyes open. So what I did, I kept my eyes open and I was holding my phone, and I was with my eyes open, imagining as I've received a phone call from the employer and I'm receiving the offer letter. So all in all, just mimicking what you'd be feeling if that were to come, like right now, what your body will go through what you'll be thinking. Are you going to be nervous or are you going to be relaxed? Whatever you're going to be, just mimic that. All right, because everybody's different. Maybe you're not going to be nervous, so mimic that. Like, mimic whatever comes natural to you, because it's all about normalizing it and making it natural to your mind. So now, to reach the point of it's done, the number one tip that I always also follow is not to put a timer on, and just keep doing it until you feel like, all right, it's done. It's a feeling, like it naturally comes. It's just naturally comes if you follow these steps correctly. And if you want, I can like mention all these steps down in the comment section below or the description box below. But if you're doing it correctly and you're constantly just imagining it, you will reach a point where you'll be like, all right, it's done. It's done. I don't need to do it anymore. It's done. I don't need to imagine it anymore. I'm done for the day. And yeah, I mean, it just comes naturally. It's really important for you to reach that point of relaxation and that point of it's done. And I've written why, like, because I just wrote it down just because I didn't want to forget. So I've written, you knowing it's done is really important for you to relax and go enjoy your life. This way you won't be thinking about it obsessively and not doubting it, and keeping a mental diary would be much easier. I'm just gonna show you that I really wrote it just so that you guys know that I'm not fucking copying anybody. So reaching the point of relaxation is, again, as I wrote it down in my diary, is important because it's really important for you to relax and for you to know that it's done, so that you can enjoy your day, you can do your activities, you can be distracted throughout the day. First of all, why? So that you're not obsessively thinking about it, because when you obsessively think about something, you accidentally, subconsciously start doubting it as well. Watch my previous video. You should watch my previous video. It will tell you what I'm talking about. And also, like, when you know it's done, that's what we're trying to do with all our manifestation, is reaching to that point of that knowing that it's just gonna happen, because it just fucking relaxes us, and then we're not like obsessing over it. And that's when it actually happens. That's when you actually normalize it, right? And that's when keeping a mental diet also becomes much easier, right? Because your visualization session like creates this baseline structure for the rest of the day. I don't know if that makes sense or not. How to imagine your self-concept correctly, because I'm sorry if you saw something. Those are some wipes. So how to imagine your self-concept correctly. And it's really important because I recently realized that me just affirming my self-concept, my new self-concept, was not enough until I started doing what I'm just gonna tell you guys. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna close your eyes, all right? You're gonna close your eyes and you're gonna start saying the new affirmation for the new version of yourself. And you're really just gonna start focusing on those and creating this feeling state almost, okay? Like, you really need to just experience those affirmations while your eyes closed. Once you create this feeling state, now what you want to do is you want to start perceiving or start seeing people in your reality from that state of being. Especially if, let's just say, you are creating a new self-concept in love. So now with this new state of being, how would you be looking at the romantic partners in your reality? How would you be looking at them? What would you be thinking about them? All right. How would you be interacting with them? Now who they are in your reality based off of this new self-concept of yours, in the sense that if now that you believe that you're the chosen one, that you're top choice, top priority and whatever, how are they treating you now? That's really important. Just saying your affirmations, yeah, that can work, but it's just really powerful. If you want to make your sessions, your routines powerful, do what I'm saying, right? Because I saw so much movement, not just in my state of being, but also in my reality, once I started doing my self-concept this way. Start seeing people in your reality from that state of being. Start interacting with them. You just pick 2-3 things, as in the sense that if you're saying, I'm always chosen over everybody else. Now, what does that look like in your reality? How does that look like in your reality? Just saying I'm chosen over everybody else is not enough for your brain to process. How does that look like in your reality? How are people treating you in your reality? Include that as well, right after saying your affirmations, right? Now, once you do that, once that is done, especially if you're manifesting a specific person, once you have seen them choosing you over everything and everybody else, or doing whatever you want them to do, now again, you want to walk in your reality being that person, being that new state of being. Pick 2-3 activities you usually do, or 2-3 places you usually visit in your day-to-day life, and now in your mind visit those places in this new state of being. Alright, this is too much information in this one video. It fucking works. That's how you imagine stuff. Imagination is not imagining in detail. Imagination is anything where you're hearing people say stuff, you're doing something in your imagination. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be in detail. So whenever people come up to me and tell me that they are not able to imagine stuff, I don't believe you, because we're always are imagining stuff, in the sense that we're always thinking, and whenever we're thinking, we always have this image. It doesn't matter if it's perfectly detailed or not, there's always this image in our heads. So also whenever people say and talk about, oh my god, affirmations are better or scripting is better, I just want to ask these people, are you crazy? Like, you've been teaching this stuff for I don't know how long, and you don't even know, like, all of those things are just nothing but you thinking new thoughts and then having these new images in your mind. Like, it doesn't matter. If you're scripting, you're affirming, you're visualizing, it's all just one thing, all right? So do not get confused. I am tired now, and I will be listing all the things that I've talked about in this video so that it's much easier for you to access. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me those in the comments section down below. I would love to clear out any of your doubts. But other than that, I will see you guys in my next video.